After the brutal showdown at HyperTech Robotics, one of their toughest rivals, NeoMech Industries, saw an opportunity to swoop in and stake its claim on the coveted tech market. Their new headquarters at 219 Actuator Avenue, acquired in partnership with Madripoor's infamous power broker, was positioned to disrupt the market with a series of aggressive upgrades and expansions. The power broker, known for backing high-stakes deals, saw potential in NeoMech's futuristic projects and, in return for underwriting the property, secured a substantial ownership stake. The power broker's investment hinged on various key performance indicators, KPIs, to measure the profitability and risk of the 219 Actuator Avenue property, and NeoMech's performance against these KPIs would determine how much the power broker would benefit from this bold endeavor. Let's break down some of the key KPIs and what they mean for NeoMech Industries and their power broker-backed headquarters at 219 Actuator Avenue. Key performance indicators, KPIs. 1. Net operating income, NOI. What it means, NOI is the income generated from the property's operations, for example, rent, minus operating expenses, such as maintenance and utilities. Value, $665,000. Good or bad? This is a strong NOI for a 13,875 square feet property, showing that the building is generating significant income after costs. 2. Capitalization rate, cap rate. What it means, the cap rate shows the rate of return expected on the investment property, calculated by dividing NOI by the property's purchase price. Value, 10%. Good or bad? A 10% cap rate is considered solid in a competitive market. It suggests a strong return, indicating that the power broker and NeoMech made a good investment choice. 3. Debt service coverage ratio, DSCR. What it means, DSCR measures how well the property's income can cover its debt payments. A DSCR above 1 means income exceeds debt obligations, while below 1 means income can't fully cover debts. Value, 1.35. Good or bad? At 1.35, NeoMech has a safe buffer to cover debt payments. This suggests low risk to the power broker, as the property is likely to meet its financial obligations without trouble. 4. Occupancy rate. What it means, this shows the percentage of units currently occupied. Higher occupancy means more stable income. Value, 90%. Good or bad? A 90% occupancy rate is quite healthy, meaning most commercial spaces are rented out, generating steady income for NeoMech. 5. Tenant credit quality. What it means, tenant credit quality evaluates the financial health of the tenants. Higher-rated tenants are less likely to default on rent. Value, A, excellent. Good or bad? An A rating means NeoMech's tenants are financially stable and reliable, reducing the risk of unpaid rents. 6. Lease expiration schedule. What it means, this shows when tenant leases will expire, which helps anticipate upcoming vacancies. Value, 5 to 12 years. Good or bad? With leases spread over 5 to 12 years, NeoMech can expect stable income without facing too many lease expirations at once, which adds financial stability. 7. Market rent versus in-place rent. What it means, market rent is the going rate for similar spaces in the area, while in-place rent is what tenants are currently paying. Value, market, $42 per square foot, in-place, $40.50 per square feet. Good or bad? Since market rent is higher, NeoMech could increase rents as leases expire, boosting future income. 8. Effective gross income, EGI. What it means, EGI, is the total income after vacancy losses and concessions. It's a realistic look at the property's earnings potential. Value, $950,000. Good or bad? This value is strong, suggesting that even with occasional vacancies, the property generates nearly $1 million a year in gross income. 9. Operating expense ratio, OER. What it means, OER, shows the percentage of income spent on operating expenses. Value, 28%. Good or bad? A low OER of 28% means NeoMech has manageable expenses relative to income, which helps keep profits high. 10. Market vacancy rate. What it means, this is the percentage of similar spaces in the area that are unoccupied. Value, 9%. Good or bad? With a low market vacancy, NeoMech has an advantage, as demand for spaces is high, making it easier to fill vacancies. 11. Replacement cost. What it means, replacement cost is the estimated cost to rebuild the property if it were destroyed. Value, $7,800,000. Good or bad? This value underscores the building's worth and helps evaluate the long-term investment risk. 12. Loan-to-value ratio, LTV. What it means, LTV compares the loan amount to the property's value. Lower ratios are safer. Value, 72%. Good or bad? A 72% LTV is reasonable, showing that NeoMech didn't over-leverage. This lowers the risk of default. 13. Internal rate of return, IRR. What it means, IRR is the rate of growth the project is expected to generate. Value, 25% good or bad. A 25% IRR is excellent, indicating that NeoMech expects high returns, which makes the investment very attractive. 14. Net present value, NPV. What it means. NPV is the difference between the investment's current value and its cost. Value, $275,000 good or bad. A positive NPV of $275,000 shows that the property is expected to bring in more than it cost, which is a good sign. 15. Cash on cash return. What it means. This measures the cash return on the cash invested. Value, 13% good or bad. A 13% return is strong, showing that NeoMech is generating good returns on their cash investments. 16. Power Broker Score. What it means. The Power Broker Score is a rating system that gauges how favorable the property is for high-stakes investments. Value, 4 stars. Good or bad. With a 4-star rating, NeoMech's headquarters at 219 Actuator Avenue has great investment potential, making it a key asset in the power broker's portfolio. NeoMech's KPIs reflect a well-performing property with high income, controlled expenses, and reliable tenants, making it a strong asset for their push to dominate the robotics market. With the power broker's backing, NeoMech has positioned itself as a formidable opponent to HyperTech Robotics, setting the stage for an all-out tech war in Madripoor's industrial battleground. NeoMech Industries' new headquarters at 219 Actuator Avenue looked like an absolute wreck from the outside. A sprawling, run-down junkyard with rusty robot parts, piles of scrap metal, and faded old signs clinging to fences barely holding their shape. But if anyone dared venture past the surface clutter, they discovered the nerve center of the most advanced robotics operation Madripoor had ever seen. By design, NeoMech's headquarters blended in with the abandoned lot vibe of Lowtown, Madripoor's shadiest district. They knew that in a city where power was everything, hiding their true capabilities was their greatest asset. To the untrained eye, it was nothing more than another industrial wasteland in a sea of salvage yards. But for those in the know, the power broker's most trusted allies and the NeoMech insiders at 219 Actuator Avenue was ground zero for the T-Series robotics race, a high-stakes competition to create the fastest, strongest, and most adaptive bots for Madripoor's underground tech scene. Beneath the piles of scrap and junk, NeoMech's HQ was a labyrinth of cutting-edge labs and manufacturing facilities. Hidden access points were cleverly disguised as battered old sheds and half-crushed shipping containers. Each held high-tech scanning equipment to verify identities, preventing any unauthorized entry. Once inside, the real NeoMech HQ was a marvel of futuristic design. Neon blue lighting cast an eerie glow over white metallic walls, and sleek panels displayed continuous streams of data. Engineers buzzed about in specialized, gravity-reducing suits, making adjustments to prototypes that seemed straight out of science fiction. At the heart of it all was the T-90 Phoenix, NeoMech's latest entrant in the T-Series robotics race. A sleek machine built with lightweight alloys and nanotech-enhanced parts, the Phoenix could process data 50% faster than its closest competitor, adapt to terrain in real time, and even recalibrate its strength to avoid self-damage under extreme conditions. The Phoenix's skeletal structure housed an AI core, developed in secret through a risky data trade between NeoMech's CEO and one of Madripoor's elusive tech hackers. Rumor had it the AI was inspired by prototype code swiped from their rival, HyperTech Robotics. To stay hidden, NeoMech even disguised the sounds of their operations. At night, when work was at its most intense, they used old power generator noises to cover up the hum of high-energy laser printers and the grinding sounds of bot calibration. From time to time, smoke would billow from one of the many junk piles in the yard. To the locals, it was just another day in Lowtown's scrapyards, but beneath the smoke was a special exhaust system, venting off heat from NeoMech's secret forge where specialized metal alloys for the Phoenix were crafted. The T-Series robotics race was more than just a test of engineering, it was a race for control. In a world where street battles were fought with customized tech instead of fists, the winner of the T-Series would hold Madripoor in the palm of their hand. The power broker had sunk serious credits into NeoMech's success, and their goal was simple: make sure the Phoenix dominated the underground and kept HyperTech and any other hopeful competitors locked in second place. NeoMech's engineers, scientists, and their secret team of AI programmers worked around the clock, knowing that failure wasn't an option. If the Phoenix didn't meet expectations, the power broker wasn't the forgiving type. As the T-Series robotics race drew near, NeoMech's rivals were gearing up for their own reveals. But no one knew just how prepared NeoMech really was. With the Phoenix as their ace in the hole, they intended to take control of Madripoor's robotics underground and show the world that sometimes, power lies not in the gloss, but in the grit. And a junkyard could hide the deadliest tech in the world. Working with the power broker, NeoMech had access to funding and high-level data resources that allowed them to create a razor-sharp set of metrics to ensure their headquarters at 219 Actuator Avenue would be a financial powerhouse, capable of supporting the complex operations required for their robotics dominance. Here's a closer look at how NeoMech and the power broker developed and calculated each metric, as well as why each one is essential. Key metrics breakdown: building size, 13,875 square feet. This metric represents the physical area NeoMech had to work with. The power broker understood that in a city like Madripoor, every square foot counted, especially if they wanted to keep up with competitors. NeoMech's engineers carefully optimized the space to accommodate their advanced robotics equipment and secret labs. Net operating income, NOI, $665,000. NOI measures the property's profitability after subtracting operating expenses but before taxes and debt payments. Here's how they calculated it: effective gross income, EGI. This is the total income potential. With an EGI of $950,000 and an operating expense ratio, OER, of 28%, operating expenses total 28% of $950,000, or $266,000. Subtracting operating expenses from EGI, $950,000 minus $266,000, yields an NOI of $684,000, which matches closely to NeoMech's NOI of $665,000. This small difference might account for unique operational costs related to their underground activities. Capitalization rate, cap rate minus 10%. The cap rate is the NOI divided by the property's value. It's a key metric for determining the investment's return potential. NeoMech's NOI of $665,000 and a cap rate of 10% imply a property value of $6,650,000, calculated as NOI divided by cap rate. This value is slightly lower than the replacement cost of $7,800,000, which reflects the property's potential high-end resale value but suggests a realistic market value at acquisition. Occupancy rate, 90%. The occupancy rate indicates the percentage of leased space in the building, which is crucial in determining income stability. With a market vacancy rate of 9%, a 90% occupancy rate aligns well, showing that NeoMech's headquarters is nearly fully occupied and thus maximizing its rental income potential. Debt service coverage ratio, DSCR, 1.35. DSCR reflects the property's ability to cover debt payments, calculated as NOI divided by debt obligations. A DSCR of 1.35 suggests that NeoMech has more than enough income to cover debt, with some cushion for unforeseen expenses. It shows financial stability, which was essential for the power broker's long-term investment confidence. Loan-to-value ratio, LTV 72%. LTV is the loan amount as a percentage of the property's value. For NeoMech, this LTV shows they financed 72% of the building's value, within commercial standards, indicating moderate risk. It's a favorable ratio, balancing debt with equity, allowing the power broker's funds to be invested strategically while maintaining manageable debt levels. Internal rate of return, IRR 25%. The IRR estimates the property's profitability over time, factoring in cash flows and eventual resale. An IRR of 25% is high but feasible given Madripoor's booming tech scene. NeoMech and the power broker calculated this based on projected cash flow growth from increased rents, plus a resale scenario in a few years. This high IRR was one of the reasons the power broker was willing to back NeoMech's expansion. Cash-on-cash return 13%. This measures annual cash flow relative to invested capital. A 13% cash-on-cash return means that for every dollar invested, NeoMech and the power broker expect to earn 13 cents per year. This return is strong and reflects NeoMech's profitable leasing strategy. It signals solid cash flow and would attract other investors interested in high-return ventures. Market rent versus in-place rent. Market rent, $42 per square foot, compared to in-place rent, $40.50 per square foot, reveals a gap, showing potential for rent increases. As leases expire, NeoMech could raise rents to the market rate, increasing EGI over time and bolstering both NOI and long-term profitability. Replacement cost, $7,800,000. This is the estimated cost to replace the building if it were destroyed. It's higher than the current valuation, $6,650,000, showing the property's value in its location and build quality, even amidst the junkyard cover. Power broker score, 4 stars. This proprietary score developed by the power broker measures potential ROI, location strategy, and risk. A 4-star score highlights NeoMech's competitiveness in the Madripoor tech race and long-term resilience. Through their calculations and close partnerships, NeoMech Industries and the power broker were primed for growth. The power broker's financial backing and savvy market insight helped NeoMech create a base that was not only functional but positioned to outlast and outmaneuver every other tech operation in Madripoor. With the T-90 Phoenix ready to go and an ironclad financial strategy, NeoMech was about to put the city's tech underground on notice.